How are y'all doing? It's Aaron Alanis, CEO and founder of Basics, and in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to stop feeling lazy and stop feeling like you can't go to the gym even on your bad days, because guess what? I'm having one of those days today to where I don't want to go to the gym. I'm looking in the mirror. I ended up having a couple extra calories than I should have the last couple of days, so I feel like a little squirrel, but at the end of the day, I got goals that I want to achieve because of that. Today, I want to be showing you how it's done regarding getting that workout in, whether you feel like it or not, and just follow along. You're gonna love it today.
Okay, let it be known, I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a home, this ain't a phone. Grind never stopping, I'm keeping it cold. Unlocking the door with the holy key. You supposed to be this close to me, and hopefully you understand G.O.D. Maybe this cold and I'm talking like no degrees. This ain't a fluke, I seen it way before it ever happened. He gave me the view. I had to put in my time on the TV, it coming in soon. I couldn't leave it all up to a variant or an experience. You gotta get up and do what it do. So complicated, homie, it's you. Always gonna wait until you in the mood. I've been running, came out gunning, stop the fronting on your word. It's what you hear, not what you heard. I'ma hate on every verb. I'ma show you what it's worth. Every day I'm on the earth till they put me in the dirt. I'ma get into it first.
So hopefully you all enjoyed that montage. I'm getting better and better and better and better at editing every single time that I get behind the keyboard. And guess what? That's a good sign as to how we're going and how we're going to be growing. So again, before we dive into today's video topic, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel to join Builder Nation. We are creating an entire movement of men that are looking to build their best body ever. So again, if you want to find out more information to work with one-on-one with our team, go ahead and visit www.basicsbrigade.com to book your free 15-minute call with me personally for now before I start scaling out even further. That way we can discuss whether or not you'd be a good fit for one of our programs. If you are, we can talk about how we can help you out. If not, completely cool. We'll point you in the right direction of someone or something that may be a better fit for you. And again, if you don't want to manually type it out on your computer, I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. That's why you can go ahead and check the first link in the video description of this video. Just go ahead and click it right there. It takes less than 2 minutes to fill out, or you can go to the pinned comment in the comment section and you'll see it right there. So again, today we're going to be talking about the 5 easy tips to find motivation to work out again. A lot of people look at the way that I'm looking nowadays and they say, man, you look like one of these guys that's always had it figured out with his fitness. And I always have to tell them like, hey man, are my genetics really good when I cut down to like single digit body fat percentage? Obviously, I'm not naive. I'm very blessed genetically speaking. Thank you, mama. Thank you, papa. I just play the cards that I'm dealt, right? But at the end of the day, I've also been someone that's eaten tons of donuts, pizzas, cookies, burgers, and not working out, not doing my cardio whatsoever. And then I've also looked like this. So I always tell people your genetics don't matter if you're not putting in the work to maximize your potential that you've been blessed with, right? There's a lot of people out there that probably have the best genetics in the entire galaxy, but guess what they're doing? They're sitting around all day, they're playing Xbox, they're not maximizing their potential. And because they're not willing to unlock their potential regarding what they've been blessed with, they stay looking average and no one would ever look at them and say, man, that guy's a go-getter. So understand that sure, I may look fit right now, but I'm someone that's also had to build himself from the ground up. So tip number 1 is you want to change your internal identity to being a fit person, not someone who's trying to get in shape. Now, to give you all some context, when I was, let's say 22, 21 kind of thing, right? I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety, and suspected ADHD. Now, the reason I'm saying suspected ADHD is because when I was supposed to be getting the test for ADHD, I can laugh about it now, but at the time I was going through it, right? I missed the test, right? So there was a test that I was supposed to be taking in order to get prescribed Adderall, but I missed it. And supposedly one of the symptoms for ADHD is missing your appointments, right? So I always thought it was funny because it's like, man, if I missed the appointment for ADHD, I probably needed that medication more than anybody else. They should have just sent me this prescription right away in the mail. Like, man, if Aaron Alanis can't make the appointment for ADHD, this is an emergency kind of thing. But to get back to earth, I remember one day after taking these 5 prescription medications for a couple of years at that time, my sleep was all over the place. I was super depressed. I was overweight. I couldn't get any girls. I pretty much had no friends, and I was always locking myself inside of the house without really doing anything, right? So I've been there, I've done that. If you feel like you're there right now, I have complete empathy with you because it's a really dark place to be in. For whatever reason that day, I ended up having my iPad open. So I had my iPad open on the desk that I had at the time. And I was looking at myself and I was just, for whatever reason, I just became really observant of my thoughts for that one day. And I just remember just kind of seeing how I was viewing myself, and I also saw the way that I was speaking to myself. And at the time I was speaking to myself very negatively. It was like, man, you're a loser, you're out of shape, you're this. I get choked up saying that because it just feels so weird for me to say things like that, because nowadays my thoughts are completely opposite because of what I'm going to be teaching you all today. Then I remember telling myself, like, for whatever reason, I was seeing myself as someone who was a loser at the time. And I was also catching myself being very negative to the way I was speaking to myself. And for whatever reason, it was like a voice from God or whatever the case may be, just saying, what if you just flip the script? All right. It was the first time that thought had ever came into my mind at the time. And I was like, all right, well, let me just kind of let me flip the script. And remember, this is in 2020. So this is when everything was going on at the time, right? I'm not going to say it because you know what, power is, that's none of my business. But at the end of the day, I remember when this was going on, I had that thought, that epiphany for myself to change what I was saying to myself. And as soon as I did that, I went to the gym that one day and I had one of the best workouts that I've ever had, even to this date, right? And that was because I looked the exact same way that I did the day before, where I felt super depressed, super anxious, super everything, just a complete mess of a human being at the time. And then the day afterwards, I felt like I was on top of the world, and it was simply by changing the way that I viewed myself for that day, and it was by changing the way that I spoke to myself. So here's the magic sauce that I'm going to be teaching you all today. I'm not going to be holding anything back. You all will get all the value that I know about really finding that motivation to work out again, that way you can stay consistent and not give up like you've been giving up to this point. There's 3 books that I want you to read. So the first book is called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. This book will teach you about changing your internal self-identity. Is it a self-help book? Yes. Is this a fitness video? Yes. But at the end of the day, growth in life as a whole, it's all connected. Once you can understand that life as a whole, everything is everything, here's a real secret. We are minds with bodies. We are not bodies with minds. That's like super woke, quote unquote, stuff that you got to internalize. But once you can start understanding that we are minds with bodies and not bodies with minds, you'll be able to really start prioritizing what's in between your own 2 ears to maximize your success with your fitness and everything else that you want to get better at. So if you read this book right here, Dr. Maxwell Maltz will teach you exactly how to change your own perception of yourself subconsciously. That way you can become a fit person and you can act in accordance with your new fit nature versus you trying to get in shape. Because guess what? When you're always trying to get in shape, you're always going to be subconsciously self-sabotaging yourself in order to act in accordance to how you view yourself. So if you view yourself as someone who's trying to get in shape, guess what's going to happen? As soon as you start seeing progress in the gym, you're going to start taking back steps because you're going to start seeing progress. And whether you realize it or not, you're winning sometimes when you're not used to winning. You can get a little bit uncomfortable. So then as soon as you lose 5 pounds, you're gonna go get a dozen of donuts, and then you're gonna start feeling bad for yourself. And then you're gonna stay in that same loop that you've been in for years up to this point, that little hamster wheel that a lot of people unfortunately get caught up in. And if you're watching this video, I'm sure you've been there. I've definitely been there. It's a really bad place to be in. So if you want to change your self-image, go ahead and get Psycho-Cybernetics. When I was dead broke, I had $15 in my bank account. I went on Amazon, the book was about $13. I ended up ordering it with $13 on my $15, and it's been the foundation to everything that I've built up to this point. The second book is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's another very similar book regarding changing your self-image by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And the third book, which will change everything for you, is The Keys to Positive Thinking by Napoleon Hill. This one will help you develop a positive mental attitude regarding your mindset, and you can even do things such as self-motivators. I think it's in the very, very beginning of the book, to where you're just repeating a word to yourself or a couple of words to yourself. So you can say, I am fit, I am healthy, I am fit, I am healthy, I am fit, I am healthy. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if you want crazy results, you got to seem kind of crazy to the outside world, because at the end of the day, the outside world practically has 0 results out there. And if you want 1% results, you got to do what 1% of people do, which is mastering your mindset. So if you change the way that you view yourself and you change the way that you talk to yourself, you will absolutely see the best results that you've ever had in the gym. I promise you. Tip number 2, screw your feelings and show up anyways, do the work and become disciplined. When you can remove your feelings from the equation, guys, whether you take action or not, your life will change. There's a lot of people that talk about managing your state this and managing that, but every time I've tried to get in that mindset regarding managing my emotions this or managing my emotions that, I just never really do good. That's just for me personally. I'm someone that knows how to be very dedicated, and I just have grit. And that's really what it takes to be successful in this world, because you're not always going to feel like showing up to the gym. You're not always going to feel like following your meal plan. You're not always going to feel like getting back in shape. If you at one point you were in good shape, like I was when I was in high school wrestling and playing football, and then you got out of shape. Sometimes it's like, man, I don't really feel motivated. You have to understand that your current feelings and your current response to you feeling unmotivated, and then you choosing not to work out because you feel unmotivated, is the reason why you're fat. I hate to put it that way, but that's what I had to tell myself that. And I'm keeping it completely direct, because no one in your life is going to tell you the no BS truth regarding as to why you're not in shape. And that's because whenever you feel tired, whenever you feel unmotivated, you choose to let that dictate your actions. And winners don't do that. Winners take action regardless, man. There's so many days where I don't want to show up to the gym, but I show up anyways, because guess what? I care more about consistency than I do about performance, because performance can always be optimized over time, but you can't maximize your performance until you maximize your consistency and you optimize your consistency. Meaning that it's more important that you show up to the gym every single day that you're supposed to be going to the gym, than it is for you to get a 10 out of 10 workout every single time. You can optimize for that later, but initially, stack up small wins. Show up to the gym every single day that your workout program tells you to go. Do the work whether you feel like it or not. And believe me, a 1 out of 10 workout is better than a 0 out of 10 workout every single day of the week. Always remember that. Tip number 3, you want to tell everybody what you're about to do with your fitness journey before you even start. Now, the reason this is important is because you want to almost declare your success before it happens. That way, when you're telling everybody what you're about to do, and if you don't do it, you're going to look like someone who doesn't have any integrity if you don't accomplish your fitness goals. And if you're anything like me, if you're someone that really prides yourself on your character, that's absolutely unacceptable if you don't do what you say you're going to do. Now, this is something that I even did for myself. This is something that when I was 220 pounds, I remember walking in my gym. It was right around that experience that I had regarding reading Psycho-Cybernetics and changing my mindset. I just started declaring my success, my future success to people. And it's something I still do to this day. And I'm always telling people what I'm about to do before I do it because it makes me keep my commitments to myself, right? It's just something that I do because I'm the kind of guy that performs really well under pressure. So if no one's going to be putting that pressure on me, I'm going to put that pressure on myself. But I remember telling people all the time, hey, I'm going to be cutting down to 170 pounds. And I was 50 pounds away. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do it by like March. I don't forget the dates. I'm not going to calculate the dates right now. But I remember telling people, yeah, I'm going to cut down 50 pounds. Like, yeah, good luck or whatever the case may be. So, okay. And then I would do it. I would get, hey, I'm down 10. People would ask me, hey, Aaron, how's the weight going? Because that's all I would talk about to people. Like, hey, yeah, I'm cut down 5 pounds. Down 10 pounds, down 15 pounds, down 20 pounds, down 25 pounds. And before you know it, you end up hitting your goal. And it's like, man, dude, Aaron, he's been telling me this whole time. And then if you start telling people all your goals, guys, they can not only hold you accountable, because I know that some people out there, they say not to tell anyone your goals, let your success do the noise. Why not both? If you're someone that really understands how to perform well under pressure, put that pressure on your back, let yourself show people who you actually are and what you're actually made out of, and let them see your light shine in action. That's the way I like to live. Easy tip number 4. You want to visualize your end result with your fitness, meaning the end result of your future transformation with your fitness, and you want to hold that picture of who you're becoming as often as possible. Now, this is something that I learned in Psycho-Cybernetics, because sometimes when you're having those days where you feel unmotivated to work out and you feel like, man, I can just kind of stay in today. One day is not going to hurt me. Skipping cardio is not going to hurt me. Not doing my reps today isn't going to hurt me. Guess what you can do? You can visualize exactly how you want to look. And this is something I used to do all the time. I used to be, even when I was seeing progress, sometimes I remember when I was weighing around like 210 or 205 pounds, I saw some progress, but breaking that 200-pound barrier for me was a big challenge initially. I would always be bouncing back and forth. There's a place around my area called Khan's Mongolian Grill, and it's just like crazy pastas, crazy everything. If you're local to the Rio Grande Valley, you understand what I'm talking about. Some crazy food, right? And I remember I used to go there. I was like 202, 205, or whatever the case may be. I would eat it and then just overloaded with the rice noodles or whatever the case may be, and I'd gain like freaking 8 pounds. My body's real sensitive to that stuff. And I used to always find myself self-sabotaging myself. And it was because that I would get scared of the success that was going to be coming with me achieving my fitness goals, right? So this always used to be the case for me before I started reading Psycho-Cybernetics and some of the other books that I was mentioning earlier, because as soon as I understood that you want to work from your goal, not towards your goal, that's when everything changed for me. They were talking about in that book, you want to hold like a mental self-image of what you're pursuing. And at the time, my primary goal was fitness, because even if I wanted to start a fitness business, guess what I had to do beforehand? I had to show people that I knew what I was doing. Even though I was working personal training jobs and I was training people privately for years, if you don't look like you know what you're doing, people aren't going to really trust you enough to help them. So first and foremost, you want to determine what your ideal body fat percentage is. If you don't know what your ideal body fat percentage is, look up men's body fat percentages, look up those charts. You're going to see pictures all over Google, and then just pick one of them. Ideally speaking, don't go too low. I would always recommend that people stay between 10 and 12%. If you want to get a little bit leaner than that every now and then, you definitely can. But you always want to think about long-term sustainability more so than short-term gratification when it comes down to your fitness goals. So once you pick your goal, pick your weight, pick your body fat percentage, pick exactly how you want to look, and then you want to just hold that vision for yourself. You want to focus on one singular goal at a time when it comes down to your fitness. So at the time, I didn't care too much about breaking every squat PR that I ever had. I didn't care too much about breaking every bench press PR that I ever had. I didn't care too much about deadlifting more than max tuning. That dude is freaking strong, I'm telling you. But at the time, I just wanted to get leaner. I just hated walking around feeling like I had an extra tire around my waist. So I just pictured myself with a super lean six-pack. I pictured myself at around 170 pounds, and then I just worked towards that goal every single time. And I made my decisions based off of who who I was becoming, not who I was in that very specific moment. So every time I had option A or option B regarding, hey, should I get the salad or should I get the noodles? I always picked the salad because I knew exactly who I was becoming. And I always held that image of myself, and I always walked around as if I was that person. I talked as if I was that person. I did my cardio like I was that person. And over time, your external reality will start matching your internal reality for yourself. And that's one of the best ways to really maximize your results with your fitness. And here's the hidden secret. You want to have that vision in your head feel so strong, and you want to be so certain that it's going to happen, whether it's going to be in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, whatever the timeline is for you specifically. You want to be so certain that it's going to happen that the present moment feels like a memory leading up to that point. And when the present moment feels like a memory leading up to that point in your head, life will mold itself around where you decide it to be. I promise you. And easy tip number 5, you want to change your circle. Prolonged exposure to anything eventually causes contamination, meaning if you're always surrounding yourself with mediocre people that are out of shape, you're going to be mediocre and out of shape. If you're always consistently surrounding yourself with great people that are in shape and they prioritize their health in all areas of their life, especially their physical health, guess what's going to happen to you? You are going to get incredible shape, because guess what? Habits rub off on people. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people think that for whatever reason, their willpower is stronger than the way nature works. You know, we as human beings, we are sponges to our environment, and we are sponges to the people around ourselves. So if you find yourself surrounding yourself with a lot of people that are out of shape and they don't value their health, guess what? You're gonna be the 6th person in the group of 5 kind of thing that doesn't value your health, and you're just gonna stay mediocre. Now, some practical ways to start changing your circle is you want to go to fit places around your area. Usually any city around here will have a fit restaurant or two. You can start hanging out in the gym a little bit more and start using the gym as some social time for yourself. You can join free online groups or Facebook or Discord. If y'all want a free Discord community, let me know. I've been thinking about making one for Builder Nation. If we get a couple of requests in the comment section, I'll make it. Again, completely free, no strings attached. And you can also join a coaching program of some sort, whether it's ours or not. Any kind of online coaching program that has a group coaching will allow you to be surrounded with people that put their money where their mouth is, if we're being honest, that took their health seriously enough to go through the process of applying for an online coach and making the necessary sacrifices to make that work. One of my golden rules for myself is that if I don't want my future son to be like the people that I'm hanging out with, I don't hang out with that person. Ideally speaking, you want to create relationships with people that have a shared future with yourself regarding health and fitness and everything else that you want as a man, versus people with shared pasts. Meaning that I would much rather hang out with someone that has a shared future with myself regarding what they're doing with their business, with their fitness, with their lifestyle, whatever the case may be, versus someone I used to know back in high school, or someone I used to know back in middle school, or someone I used to go to college with. I want to hang out with people that are going in the same direction as me, whether I'm on level 10 and they're on level 0, whether I'm on level 0 and level 10. I just want to be hanging around with people going in the same direction as I am. And as you start hanging around with more and more successful people, that's really what it's about. People just want to hang out with people that are facing north. So hopefully you all found some incredible value out of today's video. I just wanted to drop some mindset gems in here for you all, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are always waiting for that motivation to go work out again, when really what they're missing is they're just missing a few mental frameworks that they can start implementing right away that'll help them go from point A to point B. And once you can go from point A to point B, you can go from point B to point C. And then before you know it, you're from A through Z. That's what I'm here to do, help you out with, because at the end of the day, my last name is Alanis for a reason. I help people go from A through Z with their fitness. And again, if you want to find out more information on that, you can actually go to basicsbrigade.com/booking-page, and you can book your free 15-minute game plan call with me personally. That way we can determine whether or not you qualify and you'd be a good fit for one of our online VIP coaching programs. The whole 9, if you want to be surrounded around a whole bunch of guys that are winning in all areas of their life and facing in the same direction with their fitness, Basics is the best place to go to, I promise you. So again, thank you all for watching. Make sure that you like this YouTube video, subscribe to the channel for new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. And again, if no one's told you in a minute, I will tell you right now, it's time to get your shit together, man. See ya.